Hello, I'm Dane. Welcome to another episode of Dax Jutsu. In today's episode, we'll discuss how to kind of sort legend tooltips. So I do have a sample PBIX with me, and I have total revenue and then some random budget. Random budget is just total revenue times some random numbers. And our goal here is that if total revenue is higher, we want it to be sorted first, and if it's lower, of course, we want it to be sorted last. So if you look at this, total revenue is always on the top. So what do? We can create a tooltip page. So let's create one and change this to tooltip. Then let's add those numbers, total revenue, and then random budget, and change that to matrix and move the values to rows. But then there is no option to sort it, so this will still follow this order: total revenue and then random budget. Okay, so let's create a disconnected table. And by the way, a disconnected table doesn't have any relationship to our other tables. Let's call this measure column or measure name. Table name is actual budget. And then let's add our measures. So we'll call them, let's give them a proper name. So actual revenue, and then budget revenue, and load that. Oops, it's still loading. And let's look for that table, actual budget. And then we will create a new measure. We'll call this actual budget revenue. We'll be using switch selected value of our measure name. So if act the name, yes, if the actual or the measure name is actual revenue, then we'll return total revenue. Total revenue. And if budget revenue, we'll return budget revenue. I don't think that's budget revenue. Random budget. So if it's random, the numbers have changed. And instead of the actual measures, we'll be using that disconnected table. So measure name goes, remove that, and then here. Okay, and we will remove the total. Let's change the decimal to 0. And then add thousands operators. Total. And let's change the presets or layout or style preset to none. Column headers, you want the column headers to be as small as possible. Thin lights. And then we will remove the grids. And go headers. Header. We'll change the header color to white so it's not visible. And let's sort this by actual budget revenue measure. And we'll sort this from in descending order. So we now have this. And what else are we missing? Let's add the month in here. So month and year. Remove category label. Let's make this smaller. For 15. It's pretty big. So let's make this around 10. And let's add some gap between the rows. So values, I think it's bad. Let's go back. So the measure names are aligned to the right. So row header is aligned to the right. Let's make this a bit bigger. And then let's make the tooltip page size smaller. So we have 96 and 289. So page information or canvas settings rather. Custom 96. Let's see 96. This one is 207. And let's change the tooltip to tooltip page name to tooltips. And tooltip. General property. Where is the tooltip? So as you can see, the order in the tooltip changes. So budget, row one, here. Wait, let's look for something that's more obvious. The budget is actual row one. Now what we're missing is the icon. So how do we do this? You can actually, in Power BI, it is possible to use DAX generated SVG images as icons, conditional formatting icons. But I'm not very good at SVG, so to I'll go to ChatGPT and ask for help. ChatGPT. So generate a circular icon, a DAX SVG circular icon, and ensure that Power BI will be able to render it as SVG. That's an SVG image, something along that line. Okay, so here we go. Let's add this to our model. New measure. Okay, it says green, but we'll change the color later. Now, um, initial formatting icons in Power BI cannot read hashtag, so we'll change the hashtag to %23 instead. And let's go to this. Oops. Mm, then conditional formatting. Conditional formatting icon and field value icon. What's that? Circle SVG icon. Middle. Yeah. It's wrong. Oh, instead of by matrix, let's use a table. And let's remove the total. Total, disable that. So we'll have to change the canvas size a bit. Let's change it to 230. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And conditional formatting should be on the measure name, or yes, the measure name field. Remove conditional formatting. Conditional formatting icons. Field value SVG. middle. Mm. Canvas settings to 50. Okay. And remove grid lines. So it looks like a real header or tooltip rather. So the next thing we want to do is to change the color of the tooltip. Let's see. But before that, I'll change the measure names to actual revenue and budget revenue. And let's pick the colors that are being used. So actual revenue is this. Not bad. That's for actual revenue and budget revenue. And let's go back to that SVG icon. So I'll just copy that measure. Actual budget mesh icon. Percent down to 3. Let's see. Let's check on that. Okay, so now we have legend colors that match the actual legend. Well, I hope you've learned something. Thanks for staying with me and have a good one. Bye bye.